My name is Barry Sterling Mitchell. I produce the Sterling Net Point Power Rankings and the Bias Plus Reports. Today is December 17th, 2025. Give a shout out to my daughter, Tara. Happy birthday, Tara.
Happy birthday.
And my co-host is Ben Dickerson.
That would be me. I'm Ben Dickerson. I am the co-host of the show. First things first, after that debacle of picking the teams, picking winners in week 14, I don't even want to repeat my percentage. I am back. I got 56% correct in week 15, 10 out of 16. That's pretty darn good. Back to normalcy for me. And also, before we get started with the Bias Plus report, let me just mention this now because you're about to hear it. Last week when we did it, we basically talked about each team, and we also mentioned two separate categories. One of those categories was teams that were in the hunt, which was basically everybody that hadn't been eliminated, and teams that were eliminated. This week, we're going to talk about four categories. Closer and closer we get to the playoffs, these things change. So now the four categories are teams that have clinched a playoff spot, teams that are in the hunt, meaning that if the season ended today, they would be in. Teams that are on the bubble, which means if the season ended today, they would not be in. But because the season doesn't end today, they still have a chance. Some good chances, some slight chances. And then, of course, the teams that have already been eliminated.
All righty. There you go. There you go. Well, Benny, let's start to look at this schedule. Actually, I think this is going to be a very exciting week of football. We were both 10 out of 16 last week.
Okay.
So that's
I matched up with the bias.
next
Okay.
up with the bias at
Okay.
62.5% there, which is pretty good, I'm going to have to figure out how to make some money off of these things. I don't bet, but, we come up with this and we do really, really good. And when we do, we should be able to get something out of it. Let's start off with the first game, which would be Thursday night, Benny. Thursday night. Rams at Seahawks. Way to kick it off. Rams and Seahawks by a score of only 2.6. Less than a field goal favors the Rams, Benny. This is a division, the NFC West, baby. West side, as they might say. What do you got? Well, wait a minute. The Rams are ranked second in net points, and the Seahawks are ranked first. Number one
Wow.
and
Can
number
get any
two
better
going
than
at it
that.
to open up the week.
Seahawks.
Yes, and as a matter of
Okay.
fact, let me mention Seahawks are one, so they're a little bit, they're 0.2 points ahead in terms of net points. However, that 0.6 is a plus number on turnover differential, and that 0.1 for the Seahawks is a negative number. When you calculate all of that out, it comes out in favor of the Rams, Benny. Although the net points would have favored the Seahawks, the totality represents or favors the Rams. What you got? Excuse me.
Well, sir, let me see something here. Let me check something on my notes real fast. Ram. Right, they played the Lions. Okay, so Rams played the Lions last week. We figured it'd be a good game. Two really good offenses. Somehow the Rams found themselves down 24-14 with only 30 seconds left before halftime. So half the game's over. They're trailing. 30 seconds left. They take the kickoff. Matt Stafford moves them on a 5-yard drive, a 5-play drive, gets them in field goal range, and they kick a 37-yard field goal right before halftime. Then, because they won the toss and they chose to defer, they got the ball back after halftime. Again, put on a nice drive, kicked another field goal. That got them within 4. Bang, bang, just like that. Third quarter just started. After that, the comeback was on. The rest of the third quarter, their possessions went 3 and out, touchdown, three and out, touchdown. And they never let up until they finished strong, 41-34. They are the first NFC team to clinch a playoff spot, but they have not yet clinched the NFC West. They are both, they and the Seahawks tied at 11-3, right? 11-3. So they play the Seahawks this week. Games don't get any bigger than this time of year. The Seahawks will be at home. Now, they were able to outlast the Colts last week. This is kind of crazy. 18-16, and they did not score a touchdown. Kicker Jason Myers kicked a franchise record, 6 field goals. The game winner was a 56-yarder. Seahawks, again, are still in the hunt for a playoff spot and possibly the NFC West title, with the Niners breathing down their necks. So the NFC West is tighter than tight, baby. Some of these divisions, there's a clear-cut top team in the division. Quite a few of them have two teams battling it out down to the wire. The NFC West actually has 3. So it's getting crazy out there out west. The Seahawks will be at home, and their defense is playing tremendously. The Rams also lost Devontae Adams to a hamstring last week. He is doubtful for this game, and it is on a short week, Thursday night. I don't think he's going to be ready to go. Seahawks are tough to run on, but the Rams somehow figure out a way to get Kyron Williams going. Stafford's been on a bit of a streak. Puka Nacua is looking tremendous. You hear me trying to talk myself into this, right?
Plus, you got to remember, Sam Darnold, what he threw 4 INTs in that last game.
Not in the last game.
Okay, he
That was
threw
a
like
week
4,
ago.
huh? A week
That
ago.
was 2 weeks ago.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
there's some questions about Sam now, I think, is what
There's
I'm
been
trying to say.
questions about Sam Darnold for 3-4 years.
No, they're still here.
Yeah,
It
they are
wasn't so
still
much
here.
earlier, just recently, kind of more recently, there's been a few questions.
No,
Like
there was
everybody was kind
questions
of
when
just
they had
singing
a
his
winning
praises
streak.
earlier.
Here's the whole deal. He goes to the Vikings last season. Nobody believes in him. He starts winning. The Vikings get rolling. They get to the playoffs. Everybody's, yay, Sam Darnold, Sam Darnold. But let's see what he does in the postseason. And then, okay. So then he goes to the Seahawks. So right away, everybody says, as soon as they
Oh,
start
didn't he
winning,
go to the Niners first?
yeah,
Right.
yeah, but he wasn't playing.
I know. But he did go to the Niners and then he went to the Seahawks.
Okay. But when he gets to the Seahawks and they start winning, same deal. Only this time, they're like, yeah, we've seen this movie before. If they get to the postseason, if he doesn't turn into a pumpkin before the postseason, when they get to the postseason, how long is he going to last? Well, we're up to that point right now. Okay. I'm not scared. I think the guy's playing well, and he deserves to get all the credit in the world for how well he's playing. Not to mention their defense is extremely strong, but so are the Rams. Ah, I tell you what I'm going to do. They had to kick 6 field goals last week to win that game. And the Rams running attack, I believe, is better than the Seahawks running attack.
Really?
So if I call the defenses even, I got to go with the team with the hotter QB and the better run game. That would be the Rams. I'm going to go with the bias and take the Rams.
What a calculation. What a calculation. Going with the bias, going with the Rams. Okay, there you go. There you go. Okay. Benny, guess what we got next week, next month? Or excuse me, in the week,
Month?
next week or the week coming up. We got Saturday games.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we got Saturday games, Benny. When I
Okay.
took a look at the schedule, I was like, wait a minute, what the heck is going on here?
Oh, I didn't
But as
calculate
I
that
as I
in.
look at it, and let me just double check here because things are fluid, as Stephen A. likes to say when he gives his picks. Um, let's see, Saturday, December 20th, the Eagles at 5, and then we'll talk about the Bears at 8:20. So those are the two Saturday games that we got coming up here, Benny. I tell you,
Okay. They're late in the day. I'll have my housework done.
there you go. Eagles at Commanders, bias plus score 14.3 favors the Eagles. They're ranked 13th. The Commanders are ranked 24th in net points. They are the clear favorite here. What do you got?
Yeah, they're the clear favorite. They're 9-5. Their game last week against the Raiders looked like a get right game right off the bat, especially for their offense, who had been playing kind of shabby, and they had a 3-game losing streak going on. Everybody was blaming the offense, blaming Jalen Hurts, blaming the OC, blaming the head coach, blah, 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 blah. But defensively, last week they looked great, regardless of how well the offense played. Defensively, they look great. They got their first shutout since 2018. And it looks like the NFC East title is theirs for the taking, and they could be the next team to clinch a playoff spot. So right now, the Eagles are looking good. Commanders beat the Giants last week 29-21. They were due for a win. They hadn't won a game in like a month or something, longer than a month, 2 months. Anyway, the big news for the Commanders right now, since they're not going anywhere, is the fact that they've decided to shut down Jaden Daniels for the season. I don't blame him. That elbow injury was actually pretty nasty, even though it's on his non-throwing arm. Every time he takes a hit, every time somebody bumps him, every time he gets knocked to the ground and tries to catch himself, he's going to continue to hurt that elbow. So, yeah, you got to get that guy out of there. This game's a no-brainer. This will be the Eagles.
Okay, there you go. No doubt about it as far as I'm concerned. Do you have any questions about Jaden Daniels' size and his ability to handle the hits and the physicality in the NFL?
No,
No? Okay. I'm
no.
hearing a little bit, in the media, and I just thought I'd throw that at you. All right, going with the bias, going with the Eagles. Next up, Saturday evening, Packers at Bears. Oh, division contest with a bias plus of only 1.9, Benny. One less than two, favoring the Bears. Packers are ranked. Now check this out. Packers are ranked 10th. Their net points is plus 4.8. Bears are ranked 15th at plus 1.5. However, turnover differential is where this is riding on. Packers are 0.2 and the Bears are 1.4. When you calculate that all out, it swings it over from the net point side to the turnover differential side and favors the Bears, the number one turnover differential team for the season. What do you have?
Okay, well, let's talk about the Packers first. They had a very impressive 3-game division win streak. That's big if you want to win the division title. But they lost last week to the current AFC number one seed Denver Broncos. Some people said this could be a preview of the Super Bowl, possibly. But I don't quite know about that, especially now since Micah Parsons is done for the season with a torn ACL. So he's going to miss the rest of the season with a torn ACL. That's a big blow to the Packers defense. Jordan Love got sacked 3 times. He threw 2 interceptions, and the Packers committed 10 penalties
Oh,
for 72 yards in losses.
wow.
Can't win like that. Can't win like that. So this Packer up and down thing is still happening. They're in the hunt still, but they're in danger of losing. Excuse me.
No, don't worry about it. Go ahead.
Oh, I thought so. They're in danger of losing the NFC North title to the Bears. They're behind the Bears by a game, actually by half a game, I think, because they have a tie. But yeah, the Bears are leading the division right now. So, Bears. After losing to division rival Green Bay in week 14, The Bears needed a get right game before they saw him again. Guess what that get right game was? The Cleveland Browns. And boy, did they give it to him. Caleb threw for 2 touchdowns. He had 0 turnovers. DeAndre Swift had a really nice game, 98 yards on the ground, 2 touchdowns on the ground. And the defense recorded 5 sacks and 3 interceptions. Big 3 interceptions. That's what keeps Chicago high in the turnover differential department. And they are still in the hunt, and they're clinging to the lead in the NFC North. That being said, Bears are at home. Packers are a little bit rattled. They could turn things around and come back because they've done it before after bad loss. They didn't stay there long. They pulled themselves back up out of the doldrums. But I think the Bears are kind of rolling right now. They're close enough they can smell it. I'm going to go with the Bears.
All right, going with the bias, going with the Bears with that little teeny tiny bias plus score, less than 2 points. This should be a good one, Benny. I'm looking forward to this one on Saturday evening. So now I know what I'm doing Saturday night. All right, let's kick it over to Sunday. Bills at Browns, bias plus score 15 favors the Bills, Benny. I won't belabor the point too much. Bills are ranked 6th. Browns are ranked 28th in net points.
Yeah, Browns got hammered last week by Chicago 31-3. Real tough day for Sanders. Got sacked 5 times, threw 3 interceptions. Josh Allen, on the other hand, put on his Superman cape again and led the Bills back from 21 points down to beat the Patriots. Hold on a second. Everybody knows how well the Patriots are playing, especially
Yeah.
Drake May. Both sides of the ball. The Buffalo Bills were losing by 21 points. I believe it was 21-0. They beat the Patriots. They gave them their first division loss of the season and broke the Patriots' 10-game win streak. Ooh, that's a hurt piece. They are strongly in the hunt after this big win, and the AFC East title is still out there to be had. Bills beat Cleveland with ease.
That was a amazing comeback. That was, if you talk about Josh Allen being Superman and putting the cape on and getting it done, this would be one of those examples, games examples of him getting that done there. And we had a very interesting few comments on Shador Sanders and how he, what's expected from him after that loss. I felt a lot of empathy coming from you and from some other people. My question for Shador is, how is the league going to look at him? He's not an empathetic figure league-wise. I don't believe. That's why he went from what we thought was going to be a first rounder to, what did he get picked in the 5th round or something like that?
Yep.
But I think there's a lot of antagonism associated with his name, and I was hoping that he would have a better showing, because that's the only way that you can offset that. He's just got to go out there and and play better. So I hope he does a little bit better. The Bills might allow them to run the ball a little bit more. I don't know, but it's going to be tough. So you're going with the bias, going with the Bills, correct?
Correct.
There you go. Buccaneers at Panthers. Bias plus score 4.7 favors the Bucks. Benny, pretty close. Average net points ranking for the Bucks is 20th, for the Panthers is 22nd. But the Panthers is coming, man. Little Bryce is throwing dimes out there, man. What you gonna do with that guy?
They're coming. They are there. Both teams, same division. Both teams have a shot at winning the division. Both teams are 7-7. And they're going to bump heads again 2 weeks from now. How crazy is that? Schedule makers. So let's see. After winning the last 4 consecutive NFC South titles, the Bucks are being severely challenged to win their fifth. And they're being severely challenged by these Carolina Panthers. Unfortunately, Atlanta beat them by one on a field goal as time expired last week. And now they have to play Carolina this weekend and then again in 2 weeks, like I said. Obviously, they're still in the hunt, but with the same record as Carolina, it's not the ideal situation for them to be in. However, because they have to go head to head and they both have the same record and they're both above the Falcons and the Saints in the division, is basically between the two of them, both teams have their own destiny or have their destiny in their own hands. Now, it turns out that the Falcons are not the only team in that crazy NFC South that's trying to play spoiler. The New Orleans Saints stopped Carolina from taking over the NFC South lead last week with a last-second field goal. They're still in the hunt. Carolina is, that is.
Right.
But again, they had the same record as the Bucks, so this is going to be a huge game. Now, I'll tell you the truth, man. Before the season started, I really, really was loving the Bucks, and I really, really was loving Baker Mayfield, and they were playing extremely well. A lot of other people were too. Before the first half, or by the first half of the season, people were saying Baker Mayfield for MVP. I was one of them. Things have happened over the second half of the season. Not only have they faltered a bit, mainly because of their defense, but the Panthers have really picked it up. Bryce Young's looking good. He's using his legs, which I didn't think he was going to be able to do. In fact, it's funny. After I saw him make a couple runs in that game, I grabbed my phone and went on YouTube and looked at some games back when he was at Alabama. He didn't run much, but when he did, he was pretty effective. I wouldn't call him a dual threat, but the kid can move, man. And as long as he's smart, knows when to get down and knows when to run out of bounds, that's a big plus to their offense. They're going to be home. They're going to be hungry.
Uh-oh.
I just
Uh-oh.
keep, here's the thing. I'm leaning toward the Buccaneers just because I'm loyal to the teams that I like. But I'm also going to say Buccaneers because I saw how Todd Bowles was at his post-game interview.
Oh my goodness.
They were bleeping out every other word. Beep, and we got a beep, and there's no excuse for beep, and this is beep, and that's beep, and yo, he was letting it fly. If he let it fly like that to the press, I can't imagine what he said to them in the locker room when the door was closed.
Gotta have some pride.
Got to have some pride. I'm going to go with the Bucks. I'm going to ride it out with the Bucks.
Riding with the Bucks, 4.7 bias in their favor. Riding with the bias. All right, Benny. Bengals at Dolphins. Bias plus score of 8 favors the Dolphins, Benny. This is one of those games where I'm not real happy with either one of the teams. I think both of them kind of stink a little bit. But between the two of them, it could be an interesting game. And I don't know, Tua, are they not going to start Tua?
I believe they're going to bench Tua. I'm pretty sure. I'm not 100%.
Yeah.
But let me get this Bengals mess out of the way. Because, I had a lot of belief in Joe Burrow. Remember, I told you when he came back from injury, not only would he be able to continue to put up points like he was doing before he got hurt, but he was going to inspire the defense and let them feel like if they played a little bit harder and a little bit more efficiently, they would be in line to turn some of those games into wins that normally would have been losses because he would light up the scoreboard. Well, sir, the Baltimore Ravens, they pimp slapped them boys. It was ugly. Now, I'm looking at the Bengals. They look like they're quitting. I don't think they got no fight left in them. I really don't. Whew. The Dolphins, they played the Steelers. Most of the first half, it was pretty much a pretty good game. It wasn't very eventful, but you know what I mean? It was a back and forth. Then the Steelers started to heat up. Mainly Aaron Rodgers started to heat up. And the run game started to heat up. Kenneth Gainwell, thank you very much. But the Dolphins did not score until 2 garbage time touchdowns. They just, once the Steelers took off, they could not hang. Now, here's the thing: the Dolphins will be back home in warm weather. Bengals got to go down there. Dolphins are 6-8. Bengals are 4-10. They're going to bench Tua. I think they're going with Quinn Ewers, the rookie. I'm trying to think because I know the Bengals know this is a game that they can win. But I'm trying to figure out, do they have anything at all to play for that would make them want to, you know what I mean? Because I don't like the way they looked against Baltimore. That was the Dolphins' offense obviously is going to struggle a little bit with the rookie quarterback in there, but they do have Achane. So I'm going to take the Dolphins at home.
And when you have Achane, you have a chance. That's how I look at it. Okay, going with the bias. Going with the Dolphins. Next up, Benny, the Minnesota Vikings at your New York Football Giants. Bias plus score of 3.6 favors the Vikings, Benny. JJ coming in and playing dart. What do you got on this?
So ever since the Vikings got eliminated from playoff contention, well, I'm saying ever since like it was a long time ago, it wasn't. But they've now won 2 games in a row. They beat Dallas last week. A bit surprisingly, I forget if I picked them or not. But anyway, they beat Dallas last week 34-26. It's a lot of points for the Vikings. Just goes to show how bad the Dallas defense is. But anyway, they scored they scored twice through the air, twice on the ground, and they made it very difficult defensively for Dallas to find the end zone. So they pretty much just kind of put a little bit of a chokehold on the Dallas offense, just enough that they kept the ball long enough to take advantage of that weak Dallas defense to pull out the win. Now, the Giants, oh, God, their loss to the Commanders was their 8th straight.
Mm.
Now they're a little closer to securing the top pick in the 2026 draft. I'm happy, but I'm not happy. What I am happy about is I'm expecting to see a bunch of changes in that front office. So now that being said, I gotta go with the Vikings on this one. I think they're interested in putting some good tape out there. I think they're really interested in doing as well as they can for JJ McCarthy because again, he didn't play at all last season. So this is like he's in the middle of his rookie season between with all the injuries, you know what I'm saying? So the more snaps he can get, the better it is for him and the rest of the team. So to me, they have a lot more to play for. Not saying the Giants are going to tank. I don't think they got much left in them, to tell you the truth. So I'm going to go with the Vikings in the bias.
All right, going with the bias, going with the Vikings. Next up. All right. Jets at Saints, Benny. Bias plus score of 4.6 favors the Saints. Jets are ranked 29th. Saints are ranked 27th. They're both in the negative. And the Jets are a little more negative in terms of the turnover differential. So we are favoring the Saints here, Benny. Who you got?
Well, sir, the Jets were able to. Oh, they weren't able to do anything. I was going to try to say something nice about the Jets. They were barely able to even catch a breath the way the Jaguars were lighting up the scoreboard. And their defensive coordinator got fired the very next day after the game on Monday. That's old Steve Wilkes. Used to be a head coach back in the day. I shouldn't say back in the day, it wasn't that long ago, but he was a head coach for the Cardinals. He also was a DC for you guys for the Niners for a while. But
Yeah, that
this
didn't
guy's
work
been
out.
fired. Yeah, he's been fired from several jobs lately. I think I put on our Facebook page. I think it's time for Steve Wilkes to maybe start looking for a college job somewhere, so he can kind of
The thought. It's a
kind
thought.
of reset and get himself going. Because it's obvious the guy knows what he's doing, but he's had some bad luck with personnel and some certain situations that he's been in, and the fact that he had been a head coach before, and I don't think he really got a fair shake at any other head coach openings after that. I just really like to see Steve Wilkes go out on a better note than getting fired from the stinking Jets. But anyway, let's talk about the Saints. They completed their second straight upset division win over the Panthers last week. Score was 20-17. They scored twice in the last 5 minutes of regulation to pull out the win, and that kept Carolina from actually overtaking the Buccaneers for first place in the NFC South. So the Bucs have the Saints to thank. Tyler Shook has actually been looking pretty good. I love their tight end, Juwan Johnson. Um, and they're playing pretty spirited on the defensive side, too. They are definitely, to me, the better team in this game. And I believe, I don't know what the Jets are going to do quarterback wise, to tell you the truth at this point. So, yeah, I'm going to go with the Saints. And I just noticed something. I've gone with the bias on every game so far. So that's got to change.
All right. Well, I don't know. We did pretty good last week, so we'll see. But he's going with the bias, going with the SAINTS Saints, New Orleans. All right. Chargers at Cowboys, bias plus score of 0.7 favors the Chargers, Benny. Well, the Chargers are at the very least uniform. Okay. I mean, their offense is ranked 19th. They're giving up 22 points per game. The defense is ranked ninth. Excuse me, they're scoring 22 points per game, 22.5, and they're giving up 20.3, as opposed to the Cowboys, whose offense is ranked fourth, and their defense is ranked 31st, giving up 30 points per game. So they're actually giving up just a little bit more than they're scoring, believe it or not. And they're in like fourth place in terms of scoring. So bias plus favors the Chargers. What say you?
Chargers. First of all, their recent claim to fame is they won 16-13 and crushed the Chiefs' playoff hopes. Yay! The Wicked Witch is dead. The run game was solid for the Chargers, and their defense got to Mahomes and the Chiefs with 5 sacks and 9 tackles for loss. Oh, they intercepted him twice, too. They played really, really well. We know the Chiefs were challenged, but they took them out with a strong defense. They really did. They're still in the hunt. They will have to finish strong if they want to be the second team from the AFC West to make it into the playoffs, because the Broncos have already clinched. And again, it's tough to get two teams from the same division in, but they have an opportunity to do that now. After a 3-game win streak that included wins over Kansas City and Philadelphia, the Cowboys' 34-26 loss to the Vikings definitely hurt them. It had to. They didn't turn the ball over, but they had plenty of trouble finding the end zone. And their trusty kicker, Brandon Aubrey, who I have on several fantasy teams, if he's not the best kicker, he's top 3 this season. This guy kicked 6 field goals, but he uncharacteristically missed 2 of them. That was major. I lost a game.
Did you really?
Yes, because he missed 2 field goals.
Wow.
That's how close it was. He makes those 2 field goals, I probably win. But anyway, the Cowboys are on the bubble. Not good. Their playoff hopes are hanging by a thread. Ooh, boy, sheesh. They're going to be home again, but you know what? Home field advantage isn't great for the Cowboys. I've seen people go in there and beat them. I think the Chargers got too much going on. Got to go with the bias again. Got to go with the Chargers.
Going with the bias. Going with the hardball. Chargers. All right, there we go. What do we have next, Benny? What do we have next? Well, you said that you were dead. The Wicked Wish is dead. They're going to play the Titans. Bias plus score of 17.2 still favors those Chiefs, Benny. Titans is ranked last in net points. So What do you got for this?
Who's the Chiefs' backup quarterback?
Who is the Chiefs' backup quarterback? He asks, as if I would be, and I do know his name. That's the crazy part about it. Let me see here. When I look at the Chiefs, there they go.
Oh, my bad, Gardner Minshew.
Is it Gardner? Oh, really? Is that
Yeah.
what they got
So and
now?
he,
Gardner?
yeah, he played last week right after he went out hurt. Anyway,
Yeah.
Chiefs are done. They've been eliminated from playoff
Either
contention.
way.
And Patrick Mahomes is gone for the rest of the season. He's got an ACL. So that's going to probably keep him out for not only the rest of the season, which is almost over anyway, but he'll probably get into camp kind of late too, because ACLs are tough to come back from. Not as bad as an Achilles, but bad enough. The Titans lost to the 49ers 37-24. They actually had no answer at all for Brock Purdy. And the two touchdowns they scored in the fourth quarter were way too little bit too late. Um, Even with Gardner Minshew, the Chiefs still have. I don't know. Chiefs been really lackluster, man. But Andy ain't gonna let them go out like that. Not to the Titans. Nah. Again, unfortunately, I got to go with the bias. I'm gonna go with the Chiefs.
Really hurting you to go with this bias, isn't it?
Well, I know I can beat the bias sometimes, and I'm surprised. I didn't notice it until we were all the way down like 6 games in that I actually went with the bias. Um, it's not that I don't want to go against with the bias. It's just that I'm right sometimes too.
There you go. There you go. All right, going with the bias. Going with the Chiefs. Said Big Red's not gonna let them go out like that.
Nah.
All right, next up. Falcons at Cardinals. Bias plus score of 2.6 favors those Falcons, Benny. They're ranked 23rd, and the Cardinals are ranked 25th, both in the negative. However, the Falcons are on the plus side of the turnover differential at zero point 0.1, and the Cardinals are on the negative side at minus zero point 0.1. And when you're that close, that's all it takes, Benny. That's all it
Mm.
takes. So, Falcons plus at 2.6, bias plus score favors the Falcons.
Well, sir, the old Falcons did their part to keep the NFC South in turmoil. They upset Tampa Bay 29-28. Kirk Cousins torched the Bucks for 373 yards. Holy mackerel. And 3 touchdowns. And of course, Bijan Robinson did his thing. That guy's a handful, man. I'm telling you, he's really trouble. Now the Cardinals, they got scored. Listen to this. Cardinals play Houston, right? They got scored on by Houston on the second play of the game. Then they fumbled the ensuing kickoff, and Houston drove down for a field goal. So now, before they have an offensive snap, they're losing 10-0. Can't win like that, man. Can't win like that. They never overcame that, obviously, and they lost 40-20. Wow. Kirk Cousins is on a little bit of a hot streak. And like I said, Bijan's running really well still, regardless whether they win or they lose. So I got to go with the bias again and take the Falcons.
Next up, we have Jaguars at Broncos. Bias plus score 3.4 favors the Jaguars. They're really close, Benny. Jaguars are net point 6, Broncos are net point 5.8. So they're a little bit ahead of them in terms of net points and a little bit ahead of them in terms of turnover differential. So you got the Jaguars being favored here over those Broncos. Watch them guys in the second half late. That's when the Broncos get going.
Well, Trevor Lawrence is playing some of his best ball of his career. In fact, Travis Etienne, Travis, his brother's in the league now. I get him mixed up. But anyway, the running back, Etienne, He went to college with Trevor Lawrence. They played for Clemson. They won a national championship together. Even he said, as long as he's been playing with Trevor Lawrence, this is the best he has seen him. He was spectacular in their win over the Jets. 48-20. They really shellacked them boys. They're 10-4, and they're strongly in the hunt at the top of the AFC South. And they're right now trying to hold off the also very hot Houston Texans. Now, in the Denver game, the lead changed hands 4 times during the first half of the game. And the Broncos were down 23-14 in the third quarter. But then, before the third quarter ended, Patrick Surtain picked off Jordan Love, and that led to a Broncos touchdown. And new life went into the number one seed in the AFC, and the Broncos won the game 34-26. They became the first team in the AFC to clinch a playoff spot. So we got two teams clinched now. We got the LA Rams, we got the Denver Broncos. Like I said, Jack's playing great. Trevor Lawrence is looking great, but they got to go up there and play the Broncos in altitude. I'm going to go with the Broncos, my favorite AFC team.
All right, Benny. So you
Oh
usually
no, the
choose to go
Jaguars had the
against the
bias.
bias, going with the Broncos, going against those Jaguars who are favored here by a little more than a field goal. A little more than a field goal. I think this is going to be a fun game to watch. Kind of looking forward to this in that 4:30 time frame. Okay. Next up, we have Raiders at Texans. Ooh, bias plus score of 23.9. That's the biggest bias I think we've had this weekend. Favoring the Texans, Benny. Rough shot over the Raiders. Raiders ranked 31st in their points. Texans ranked 4th with the number one defense going in against the number 32 offense. What do you got?
Yeah, well, they get to go on the road and get away from their fans for a little bit. That might help. I doubt it. Anyway, Raiders got annihilated by the Eagles 31-0. Really nothing to see here, nothing to talk about. Now, after this slow start, the Texans have now won 6 in a row. They're absolutely getting hot at the right time. They dominated the Cardinals 40-20. They're solidly in the hunt for the playoffs and pressing the division leading Jaguars. That division has not been clinched yet. It's really close. So we're going to put another one in the win column for the Texans as they try to close in on the Jags. And I guess that would be again with the bias. That's
Going
okay.
with the bias.
The
Going with
one
the
I'm not going with the
Texans.
bias is with the Broncos. So I feel really good about that.
Okay. All right. All right. Feeling good is good
I have
enough.
another
That's what
one.
was said in one song that I remember. Here we go. Ben's going with the bias, going with the Texans. Next up, Steelers at Lions. Bias plus score 4.8 favors those Lions, Benny. I'm sure Aaron Rodgers has many memories of playing division games against the Lions all those years he was with Green Bay. Well, now's your chance to get back there, go into Detroit, go into enclosed stadium and see what you can do with them. Lions are ranked 8th. Steelers are ranked 17th, but they're playing a lot better. Lions are also number one in points scoring, putting up 30 points a game, and the Steelers are 18th in defense, allowing 23.3. So, what do you got on this?
Where are the Lions in points against?
Points against, they are 23rd. They're giving up 24.6 points per game, just a tad ahead of the Steelers at 24th. Right.
Okay. Okay. So the Steelers are still sitting at the top of the NFC North. They beat Miami 28-15. Aaron Rodgers seems to be getting even more and more comfortable with this offense. He got the ball out quick. He didn't hold it. He didn't want to take sacks. I don't blame him. He spread the ball around. and he got a really great all-around game from Kenneth Gainwell. Leaving the Eagles was the best thing for Kenneth Gainwell. He's playing really, really well. He's a major factor for the Pittsburgh Steelers. They are still in the hunt with the Ravens breathing down their necks. The two teams have split this season, so the division title is still very uncertain. Now, the Lions Rams game was an offensive show, just as was expected. And the Lions actually were down 27-24 in the third quarter. But after 3 and out at the end of the quarter, the Rams started to pull away, and the Lions couldn't seem to keep up. Ultimately, they lost 41-34. They ain't dead yet. The offense is still strong. They just have trouble stopping teams sometimes. But they are dangerously, dangerously on the bubble. They need this win in the worst way, and I believe they're going to get it. So I got to go with the bias again and take the Lions.
All right, going with the bias, going with the Lions. All right, there you go. I believe we're going into Sunday night, Benny.
Okay.
Patriots at Ravens. Bias plus four score, excuse me, of 7.7. Favors those Patriots, Benny. And the Ravens, I mean, depends on what Lamar's is like, what kind of condition he's in, and all of that. He can lift that game, and he might try to play the Josh Allen role against the Patriots. What do you think?
They probably have to beat these boys. And they've
Yeah.
been stung. They've been stung losing to the Bills last week. They were set to clinch the AFC East title, but the Bills decided to put things on hold for at least another week on that one. They were up 21-0 in the second quarter. Like I said before, the Bills began to surge, and the Patriots couldn't hold on, and they lost 35-31. They're still the front runners for the AFC East title, I believe, even though Buffalo is threatening. But it's not locked up yet, so they need this win. Now, after losing a big division game against the Steelers 2 weeks ago, the Ravens bounced back in a big way with a dominating shutout of the Bengals. Lamar only had to throw the ball 12 times, but 2 of them went for touchdowns. Derrick Henry report. Last week, he needed 25 carries to get 94 yards, and they lost. This past weekend, he gained 100 yards on 11 carries. That's how bad the Bengals are. Like I said, there was a dominant win for the Ravens. They're still in the hunt for a playoff spot, and they're a game behind Pittsburgh for the AFC North title that has not been locked up yet. They need this game. I do not believe they're going to get it. I really don't. I think the Patriots are too good for them. I think the Patriots have been stung by Buffalo and will come in hungry when they get to Baltimore. I'm going to go with the bias again and take the Patriots.
The one play last week with the Patriots, it was right after Josh Allen had scored, and they were feeling good. And next thing you know, they handed off to Ramondre Stevens, who ran up into the line and then kind of bumped to the outside, and he was off to the races with Drake May leading the blocking.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah.
You gotta like that. You gotta like that, man. I tell you. All right, going with the bias, going with the Patriots on Sunday night. And what's better than Sunday night football, Benny? Niners
Sometimes,
at Colts.
sometimes it's better.
Monday night, 49ers at Colts. Bias plus score of 4.8. Benny favors the Colts. All right, look, that's some shadow numbers here. I don't believe these numbers at all. I'm feeling the
What
Niners.
do you mean you don't believe them?
These are season numbers. We've seen the recent numbers lately. I didn't include them in that number, so I got a lot of questions about the Colts numbers. And the Niners is on a heater, but the Colts are favored. I mean, let's face it, they're ranked fifth in net points. My Niners are ranked 12th. and they got a better turnover differential. So it is what it is. What do you say?
So coming off the bye, the Niners look really sharp on offense. They scored on their first 5 possessions and basically overwhelmed the Titans. Them guys never had a chance. Brock Purdy threw 3 touchdown passes. Christian McCaffrey was solid as usual. Not spectacular, just solid. He handled 23 touches, which is up there where he's been all season long. He put up 87 yards from scrimmage. The Niners are still in the hunt in the tightly contested NFC West, even though they're sitting at like third right now. But if things fall the right way, we'll have to wait and see. Um, I'll tell you the truth. I don't see a scenario where 3 teams come out of a division, not even out of the NFC West. So somebody's going to have to overtake somebody. If the Rams have already clinched, then that means the Niners have to somehow overtake the Seahawks, either by the Seahawks losing and the Niners winning or some other scenario like that. I don't know what's going to happen, but I do believe the Niners will beat the Colts. So I'm going to go against the bias and take the 49ers. Oh, you know what? I didn't talk about the Colts.
All
Can we
right,
do
what do you
that?
got on the Colts?
Yeah, we'll have to edit that and I'll do my end over again. So anyway, where was I? Okay, so Philip Rivers is now the starting quarterback for the Colts. He wasn't terrible, and the Colts did catch the Seahawks offense on a down day, but they could only score 1 touchdown themselves, and the Seahawks beat them 18-16 with 6 field goals. They are now on the bubble. They're in a real tight race in the AFC South behind Houston and Jacksonville. A win would do them a lot of good in this game, but I don't think they're going to get it. I'm going to go with the 49ers against the bias.
All right, going against the bias, going with the Barry, going with the 49ers, and not with the favored Colts. There you go. I like that, Benny. All right, that wraps up the week. We have one piece of business that we always have to take care of. The Bias Plus Buster of the week, Benny. Last week was the Minnesota Vikings with a Bias Plus score of 13. It was tight last week. It was tight.
Yeah, but like I said, that was a lot of points for them.
Yeah, it sure was. It sure was, man. I mean, you got to give those boys credit. They really, seem like they want to get their act together this late. And JJ McCarthy is tossing some good stuff. So the Minnesota Vikings. Well, Benny, that wraps up the Bias Plus reports. Ben and Barry on football. Please click the notification um, bell and the subscriber button. Remember, we are at www.benandbarryonfootball.com. Any last comments before we sign off?
Signing off.
Signing off. Ben and Barry on football. Have a great week.